Look!
Listen, Taylor.
It is a podcast that you are listening to. It's episode 149 of this podcast you're listening to. Taylor, this is a podcast about Pokemon and, in italicized text, other things. Today, we're going to discuss episode 94 of Horizons. Molly's back. We're meeting her mother. Big spoilers. How we feeling out there, gamers?
Big question of the week. Who do you think the first person was that decided to put italics in a book?
Oh, they probably were losing it. They were so excited.
Could
to
you
be able to
imagine
get their point across?
The first people sitting there reading an ordinary book and seeing italics for, but he wasn't there. And they're just losing their minds, getting hyped, screaming.
Yeah, italics are so great. They're even better than bold text, to be honest. Okay, guys, you're probably asking yourselves at this point, where's Geese Peep? I haven't heard Geese Peep yet. Well, that's because she's busy doing something like usual. She's in a meeting. She's watching her little nephew. And she even wanted to be on this episode. She loves Molly. She loves the park.
I was going to talk about Monterey Bay Aquarium this week until I realized Geese was not at this pond.
Guess you'll never be able to because she loves nature. And yet not even in this recording. So the
way to
opposite
go,
of shouts
Geese.
out. What? Taylor?
Way to go, Geese.
Opposite of shouts out, to be honest. Taylor, the first segment of our podcast.
Whispers in.
Whispers in?
Yeah, opposite of shouts out.
Oh, kind of thought you said whiskers in, and I pictured
Everyone wrangle your cats.
Yeah, a cat in the pond. Taylor, the first segment of our podcast, some people enjoy. Some people have already skipped ahead to the episode discussion, but if you enjoy discussion of consumption of media, this segment is for you. Taylor, please set us up for everybody, some people's favorite segment. What you been geesin'?
Peeping in on Geese. What has Geese been up to?
Geese of the week. She's been a big time looking after her little nephew, like said early. She was working till she was working until 3 a.m. last night. Guys, burning the midnight oil.
Why was she doing that?
She had so much
library.
At the library.
Taylor, I could never
be a librarian. Unfortunately, Taylor, we have no time to discuss libraries because I have the biggest. I'm looking at how large my peep of the week, what you've been geese and geese of the week, give us a peep. There's too much here. So everybody, I know I tell you this at least once every other week, but it's time to buckle in, buckle up, calm down. There's a dog barking. He's excited. Okay. Where do you even begin? Taylor, you tell me what you want to hear first. Do you want to hear about the new game from Keita Takahashi, the creator of Katamari Damacy? Do you want to hear about Dubai chocolate Malasada donut at Sidecar Donuts? Where are we going? Where are we starting?
Let's start out with the little stuff, Dubai chocolate donut.
Do I have a giant story to tell you about this little stuff, Taylor?
Perfect.
First of all, let's get this out of the way. I've never had Dubai chocolate before. Sidecar Donuts, wonderful donut establishment. Some say the best in the planet. I agree.
I do too.
On Mondays, they sell a Malasada, which is a Hawaiian donut sort of character. They have lots of different flavors they go through. Dubai chocolate, if you've never heard of it, is super popular these days, especially over here. But it's the hot new thing, and you see it everywhere. You see it in candy bars, and they're selling it on the streets in tourist areas. This Dubai chocolate Malasada from Sidecar Donuts, outstanding. I've never tasted anything like this with the pistachio and the phyllo. Is that how you pronounce it? P-H-Y-L-O? Phyllo. The phyllo and the pistachio. So good. Incredible taste. I'd love to eat some again. Can't wait. Taylor, I have a scenario for you.
All right.
Tell me how often you have experienced a situation like this.
Okay.
I am going to AMC theaters to, of course, watch The Phoenician Scheme, the new Wes Anderson film.
Oh, my God, that's out.
Well, it's out here in Los Angeles.
Okay.
It's not out whatever they call it. It's not out on the mainland, but it's in select markets right now. It's only playing at like 3 theaters. But in classic AMC fashion, Taylor, if it's a brand new pre-release Wes Anderson movie,
not an A-list.
No, it's on A-list, but they're cutting the bottom of the screen, as you remember from some of the Wes Anderson movies we watched. Luckily, there weren't many subtitles, so it wasn't a problem. It's only the first shot, and then it was great. It was fine.
Okay.
I'm off trail. I'm off track, Taylor. Back to the Dubai chocolate situation. If I'm going to see a movie at the Grove, I'm going to eat some delicious sidecar donuts beforehand.
It's right there.
It's right there.
Why wouldn't you? You'd be a fool.
Exactly. I walk in. It's not Monday. It's a Sunday, so I'm not expecting any Malasadas to be around. I look over, and I see my man pumping so much pistachio into so many Malasadas, and I go, whoa, what do we got here? Apparently, it's big, giant celebration Malasada weekend. They got Malasadas. I say, wonderful. I say to the man, so you do have Malasadas? And he says, he looks me dead in the eye and says, no, those are all pre-sold. So, no, there's none available. And he's making so many of them.
He's just sitting there with gallons of pistachios.
And so I look at the man. I'm going to shorten this story a little bit so you can reasonably infer how all this goes. But I say, oh, okay, how do I pre-order them? And he says, oh, you'd have to go. These are all because we have to get the money ahead of time. We can't just put these out. They'll just be gone immediately. Yeah, there's no way to get them. You'd have to buy them online. These are all pre-sold. We have none available. So
I hope that this happened, that scalpers are involved in this story.
That'd be funny. So I said, okay. I pull my phone out of my pocket, Taylor, open the Sidecar app, and within 5 seconds, purchase the Dubai chocolate Malasada, show him my phone, and say, okay, I bought it. And he said, okay, well, it's going to take time to print out, and I can't even make it until I get a printout that I can make it. And I go,
oh God,
okay.
no.
And keep in mind, I have a movie starting. Thank goodness I was there a little bit early, so I had time to wait for the thing to print out. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm staring at about 6 fully prepared Dubai chocolate Malasadas. I'm here standing in the location, ready to eat mine. I'm raring to go.
Yeah.
All these other ones they're preparing, putting in big boxes, they're not here yet. I'm ready to go. And so I just stand there, and then I say, okay, I also have a free donut coupon. Can I use that? And he says, oh, yeah. And then the free donut coupon, even though it doesn't say it anywhere, this is going so long, I'm sorry. The free donut coupon doesn't reveal itself until the end. Oh, you have to buy something. And I said, oh, I have to buy something. Okay, and I'm looking at the menu. It says, shot of espresso, $1. And I say, can I just get a shot of espresso? And he says, yeah. So then I'm charged $3. And I said, oh, I thought it was $1 like the menu. No, that's just for an extra shot of espresso. If you already have a drink, you can add a shot of espresso. So now, but thank goodness I'm like, and then I just say to the man, I guess I'm making mistakes all over the place.
Yeah. And he's laughing.
I'm just sure. Big mistake man here. And so then he offers to give me a cold brew instead, which was polite of him. I actually don't want to say that this is a bad guy because he was nice. He was, I don't want to use a phrase as strong as he was trying to help me. So eventually 10 minutes pass. He finally gets the printout for the Dubai chocolate Malasada, and he gives me the food, and I eat it and enjoy it. Now then, he then acts like this was a normal interaction that the owners of the establishment would have been proud of. That this is the intended method of doing this. Keep in mind, while this is happening, another woman comes in and says, oh, Dubai chocolate Malasada, can I get one? And he says to her, no, they're all pre-sold. And she leaves. So my question to you, Taylor, is how often are you in a situation like this when you're dealing with somebody where you have to solve a riddle and create solutions for yourself? Because I promise you that the owners of Sidecar Donuts, if they were there, they would have said, just sell them a Dubai chocolate Malasada. Or if you have to follow the draconian rule of the app, just say, oh, just order on the app and I can give it to you. So he did nothing of that. I had to solve my own issue.
So to me, that sounds like somebody who has been dealing for the entire shift with being backed up with orders from one item. And somebody else had to have thrown a fit before that happened.
Right.
So I was in, I had this giant market event over the weekend. It was PlantCon, and which is a very significant event. Super, super interesting. This security person watches me and gun can loading all of our stuff and all of our belongings. We have carts and everything. And we're going in. I'm talking to one of the people that's working the event. And she says, oh, here, I can help you find your space. Security lady, older, says, whoa, you need your badge. Employee says, no, I have them on the list. They don't need to get their badges right now. They'll have them. And she says, oh, okay, just this once, to the person working the event. They take me. I go back out the same entryway. Another person can't get in without his badge. The flaw was you couldn't get in to get your badge that would let you get in. So it was a fun little riddle for everybody.
I've been in that exact situation with VIP tickets and like getting into special, like getting a comped concert ticket, but you're allowed to go to the VIP.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I tell this other person who's trying to get in, who was my neighbor, and I tell security guard, hey, he's my neighbor. I can maybe I could get his tickets or something. And he says, I can't take all of this all the way around to the back entrance, whatever. I say, security are being really strict at this event, so I'm going to go get you an employee to help you out. Lady somehow mishears the word strict as stupid.
Oh,
and
yeah.
goes, what did you
just
say to me? And I said, what? And she said, you're calling me stupid. And I said, no, I said strict. And she said, did you call me stupid? And I just kept saying, no, strict. And at a certain point, I just, like, somebody's mind is kind of made up on what they're going to do. And I was just like, I'm just going to get you somebody else. With your situation, it sucks because there was no other person. So this person's probably backed up based on a frustrating day. And they're just geared to doing, nope, sorry, we're all sold out. Order it on the app, regardless of what makes sense.
Well, no, exactly. That's what's happening is they have, when they sell it on the app, they must give the donut because the person's already purchased it. So that's why he's afraid to put any Dubai chocolate malasadas out, because if he puts them out, then there's not going to be any for the pre-orders. Although you could just put the pre-orders. But my issue isn't that he said, do it on the app. He never said do it in the app. I had to ask a number of questions to solve the problem myself, is what I'm saying. He just said, no, they're all pre-ordered. There's no way to get them.
So, I thought he mentioned the app.
No, if he mentioned the app, this wouldn't even be a story.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at, is when you have to solve problems yourself and come up with... Anyway, let's move on. The movie.
Was it good? I know you said it was delicious, but...
It was incredible. It was wonderful. What a great taste. But now I have to... Because Sidecar Donuts is so good, I have to see if all Dubai chocolate things are delicious or if it was just that Sidecar Donut. So more Dubai chocolate in my future. Okay. Phoenician Scheme. Good movie. Fun movie. Funny movie. Was it you who said you weren't into Wes Anderson's last movie, or was it Geese Peep?
It was... I didn't see the...
Asteroid City, whatever?
I didn't see Asteroid City. I wanted to, but it was the one before that I wasn't too terribly into.
The one we watched.
French
Connection.
The
French Dispatch.
Connection. Yeah. There you go. French Dispatch. Not my favorite.
I like that movie. Also, Asteroid City was fun. Also, this is fun. I mean, just you watch a Wes Anderson opening shot and you just say to yourself, so nobody else on the planet knows how to use style. Nobody else wants to make something look interesting on screen. Just the font work, the font up against a tile set, up against a color scheme, up against a camera shot. It's just so good. So beautiful to look at.
He got the auteur side of stuff, which Quentin Tarantino also has, like very specific design for everything. But I would say Wes Anderson, who's my favorite director, has the most easily identifiable and consistent style.
Your favorite director, and you haven't even seen his last movie.
Yeah. Or the one before it, not this one or the last.
So the Phoenician Scheme is a fun movie because it's basically a video game. It's just like playing a Mega Man or something. You got your world map and you got your bosses you got to take down. And
that's
fun,
so
different
sick.
Little stories. Without spoiling, I'll say the way Michael Cera was utilized at a certain point, I wasn't a fan of because it felt too similar to how he's always utilized. But I guess that's been his thing since day one.
He's never broken out of that.
It's a spoiler. I can't. I forgot to mention a week or two back, I watched all of Last of Us 2, Season 2. Taylor, it's not good. The video game is fantastic. The season is not good.
Without spoiling it, what makes it not great?
So many things. A lack of believability. I think I brought this up last time, but yeah, Bella Ramsey is not a good choice for adult Ellie. Well, you haven't even played part 2, so you shouldn't hear why it's worse.
Well, yeah, that's what I meant without
all
spoiling.
of the very strong moments that happened in the game are neutered and toned down in the show, and they lose a lot of the meaning.
I think that naturally happens when you're transitioning from video game to show or movie, because in games you have so much more time and so much direct control over a character.
Also, the entire Last of Us 2 works as a video game. The reason Last of Us 2 is so good is because it utilizes the medium of video game spectacularly. I've never played a game. In Last of Us 2, I remember holding the controller and going, "Oh my god, I can't believe this!" But because of what they're making you do as a video game. I've only had that before with What Remains of Edith Finch. What Remains of Edith Finch and Last of Us Part 2 are two games where I just go, "Oh my god, I can't believe!" Like I can't touch the controller kind of thing. So yeah, I don't recommend the TV show. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. And they even added stuff that wasn't good enough for the video game into the TV show. And it was so rushed and so poorly done. Everybody on the internet was complaining about it.
Did they include any of the DLC from... Oh, wait, no. That was in part 1,
the first
right?
season.
Because I like that DLC. But didn't care for it in the show as much.
All right. That's going to conclude my peeping of the week. Do I have more to say? Did I watch more things? Yes. But we can't be talking all day. Taylor, please take it away with just a reasonable amount of peep of the week, please. People want to hear people want to hear just a small amount. They don't want to hear us ramble. How long can I make this paragraph?
More like Bella Ramble.
Got him.
Nice. I didn't really do much this week. It was mainly working at PlantCon. Now, PlantCon is incredibly interesting if you like plants. It's also incredibly interesting if you like watching people who are...
Time out. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I cut this. I didn't mean to cut this part. Very important for me to bring up to you that I played 2AT from the maker of Katamari Damacy, Taylor.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. I want to hear about that.
And... from Watam. Do you remember our playthrough of Watam on youtube.com/@Gamooks? The plot of To a T, his new game, is you're a teenager. I believe he just turned 13. And unfortunately, the poor boy is stuck in a T-pose at all times. So he has to have a special sink that's super long and a super long toothbrush to brush his teeth like this.
Oh my God, that's so interesting.
And his little dog and his mom helps him like get dressed and everything.
You never see that in games where they have to like adjust things for a goofball character, or like where stairs are 5 feet tall because everybody can only jump.
Yeah. There's a big giraffe in this game, too. They have lots of cool little Easter eggs. For instance, you can give your dog the little hat from Watam. So,
they're linked.
Okay. Anyway, please, Taylor, take it away. PlantCon.
If you ever get yourself an opportunity to go to a convention or an event that is a very niche event, you will be so shocked at what people think about. And... the amount of plants where there's a $900 leaf that's been propagated and it's selling out, it's insane. And people are just pointing to me and I'm like, oh, why is that interesting? And somebody's saying, well, you see, this one has 7 divots on each leaf instead of 6. And this is you can only get this in Japan, but we're trying to cultivate. Go to these niche events if you can.
Final Fantasy.
I have a little story about Final Fantasy XII Zodiac Age. So I played Final Fantasy XII, as did you. Both enjoyed it. I don't think I actually finished the game, or I speed ran the ending and I don't remember. Oh, I think that was it. I had a friend over and he said, oh, you should finish this. I'll watch the ending with you. And I was like, I haven't done any side content, but okay. So I finished it. Don't remember it. Zodiac Age comes out. I'm incredibly excited. I'm watching a streamer who's streaming all of the optional content, the really hard fights and everything. And I'm active in chat on Twitch at this point. And I'm saying, oh, what are you doing for this? What are you doing for this? And he's like, oh, yeah, here you go. I'll give you all these tips. Here's about classes. Here's about how to approach each battle. And at some point, I say, this fight looks so rough because it's an incredibly difficult fight against like every judge in the game together. this streamer, this guy says, what the heck? And he just starts getting really upset. And he's like, I did so much to help you. And now you're saying I'm doing a bad job? And he immediately banned me. And I'm sitting there making so many appeals to his moderators saying, I was talking about how hard the fight was. This carried through for like 8 years of me thinking about this event regularly. Just this stranger misunderstanding me. I have not played it. Started it 2 days ago. It is great. They did this weird thing with voice acting for that game where, because it was the first Final Fantasy that had like a 3D camera, but they had like a full fleet of very talented voice actors. Shouts out to Fran's voice actor. And they have this weird kind of ethereal quality to how they do the recording where it just sounds like the voiceover for like a fantasy cartoon in the 80s. It's really cool. I encourage everybody to go check it out.
11 would have had a camera that you can move.
Right, yeah, but I meant mainline.
It's a numbered Final Fantasy.
Non-MMO.
I wish they didn't number those, though. We've brought this up before. I would have preferred those to be called Final Fantasy Online and Final Fantasy Online 2.
Yeah.
You sell so many more copies if you put a number on it.
That's very
so
true.
many more, because then you have so many people feel obligated to play it. Okay, Taylor, does this mean we're prepared for Poké-news?
I think we're ready for Poké-news.
The week. We actually kind of have a sort of not too much Poké-news of the week. The big giant thing is
the way you were saying that, I thought you were going to say, we have some really bad Poké-news.
Oh my God, this is terrible. The big thing from Sarah B is that Scarlet and Violet has received a new update on the Switch, brings the game up to version 4.0. Of course, this is for the Nintendo Switch 2, which is out. By the time you hear this, I'm already having fun playing Mario Kart. Burn. Look how much fun I'm having. I am so excited to play Scarlet and Violet in 60 frames per second. Oh my God. I'm so close. I'm 48 hours away or something. I'm so close. Look, luckily with my Nintendo Switch expansion pass guy thing, I also can play Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 version, which you need to be playing Breath of the Wild and then Tears of the Kingdom at 60 frames per second, honestly, but
I'll just play those in Los Angeles. Easy.
No. It takes giant games. Take forever. There's some more news going on with Pokemon Go. Oh my God, there's a new event happening or something.
That new season.
Yeah, new season happening.
Very big.
But I'd say most of the Poké-news of the week this week is just, oh my goodness gracious, we're getting ready for Switch 2. Pokemon Home, it's getting updated for Switch 2. So it's just the big Switch 2 update. And that's pretty much all we get.
You can't say the big news is they're getting ready for a patch.
It's
Pokemon
big news.
Go's giant thing. Go Fest.
Scarlet
coming up at the end of the month.
Oh my God. Scarlet and Violet 60 frames per second. We can if Go Fest is coming up at the end of the month, we can discuss it in a couple weeks.
But there's also the new season of Pokemon Go that started as of me, Taylor, saying this. It's like an hour and a half ago. It's
wow.
New background or new loading screen background.
Whoa.
Giant new Go Battle League changes.
Oh my.
Fortress, apparently the top Pokemon.
Holy man.
Come on.
Wasn't all that news. It is now time to discuss an episode of Pokemon. This time, episode 94 of the Pokemon Horizons anime. Taylor, can you please tell us what happened last time on Pokes?
Previously on Pokemon. Fighting solved all problems.
I don't even remember what happened last time on Pokes. Why are you doing that thing again where you're making what happened in the past cryptic?
Because it leads into the preview of this episode, which is fighting solves all problems.
Okay.
But really what happened last time on Pokemon is that one person was the Nido Thing fan was real skeptical of the team until they fought. And then she was like, all right, these not explorers, these rising Volt Tacklers are okay.
Litten fan, yeah, okay. Okay. Can you please tell us the name of this week's episode in English?
Absolutely.
When you see the title.
And I'll prove it. The Pokemon Center Lady!
You had to look that up.
Oh, that's a good one.
Or in Japanese, Pokémon Center no o姉さん. We open Taylor, believe it or not, in a Pokemon Center. You're telling me the episode called Pokemon Center, lady? What's it?
I was so confused at the beginning of this episode because I saw Molly in her Pokemon Center uniform, and that didn't even register as something out of the ordinary. My brain, for some reason, was like, oh, okay, yeah, Nurse Joy.
You thought Molly was a normal Nurse Joy, you're saying?
I think it's some weird, you know how people look at people's hair first?
I thought her hair was different.
So when people have similar hair, they're like, oh, you look alike. Even if their face is totally different. I think my head did that with hair color.
Somebody has the same facial hair, somebody has glasses, identical.
Yep.
We see some Mousehold pushing some trays of freshly healed Pokeballs, Taylor. We got Chansey's going back and forth. Like Taylor said, we got Molly working here. Oh my God, look how healthy this child's Ladybah and Phanpy are, Taylor.
I was also incredibly confused because I thought it was Roy with the Ladybah and Phanpy.
The little boy?
Yeah. There was something like my calibration wasn't happening. So I was like, yes, it's Roy taking his Pokemon to Nurse Joy. And then by the time I saw the Phanpy, I was like, I remember Ladybah, but when did he get a Phanpy?
First of all, everybody pause the recording.
Roy does not have a Ladybah.
It's Phanpy, not Phanpy.
Phanpy.
It's funny you're saying Phanpy because I have about 7 misprinted cards from the Heart Gold Soul Silver era that say Phanpy instead of Phanpy.
It makes more sense. It's easier to say.
Maybe.
Phanpy.
Anyway, we gotta be in Johto, is what I gotta say about this, because look at all these Johtonian Pokemon. You kidding me? Then we see a Nurse Joy pop up, and she tells Molly, your shift is over. Go home, sweetheart. We immediately cut to the locker room. Molly's getting changed, and oh my God, her mother comes in, Taylor. Molly's mother.
So, who does a Nurse Joy have a kid with?
Anybody. It's like the Gerudo from Zelda. They'll have a kid with anybody, but the kid is still Gerudo. So you're still a Nurse Joy.
Oh, I see. Okay. Because I was thinking maybe there was a male Nurse Joy or something.
Oh my God, no.
And I don't exactly know how the Gerudo work because I haven't, the 60 frames per second patch isn't for 2 days.
That was from Ocarina of Time. That came out on the Nintendo 64 in 1998. So
yeah, but I was waiting for the 60 frames per second
for the 60 frames for Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
So Molly's mother comes in with her Blissey, and it sounds like, honestly, Molly isn't super into this life. There's more out there in the world, and she doesn't want to be stuck at a Pokemon Center, and she's only here because Rising Volt Tacklers got disbanded, the ship blew up, and maybe one day she'll go out exploring again.
It's kind of weird that somebody who's in the medical field's first intuition was just like, no, this is a lost cause. We're giving up.
I'm a combat medic, Ma. And I don't have time to talk to you. My phone's going off. There's a big emergency going on in the park. Forest Park. Everybody's favorite park.
Would you be a park ranger you would have to be a park ranger if you worked there.
At the park?
Yeah. At the forest.
The forest park?
Why don't they call them forest rangers?
Chansey, we don't have time to put Mousehold into a Pokeball. We don't have time to put you into a Pokeball. I need you to pick up Mousehold and run behind me.
At this point in the episode, because this season especially, I've really been paying attention to pacing. And at this point, I'm thinking, this is going to be a good episode. They're going over so much. Well, minor spoilers incoming. Wasn't a big fan of it.
Oh my God, what a good episode. It's time for a theme song. We're back from the theme song, back in the Pokemon Center. Taylor, if there was any doubt in your mind before, let it be gone. We are clearly in Johto. I mean, we got a Sentret, a Hoot-Hoot, a Smeargle, a Cleffa, Igglybuff, Tyrogue,
Tyrogue and Phanpy.
Also an Oddish, Weepinbell, Gloom, Larvitar. Oh, and look, Roy's here with all his pokes. And they are eating so much. Roy, Liko, they've been on big adventures. They haven't eaten enough. They haven't rested enough. Let's finally relax. There's got to be nothing that's going to happen in this little sleepy Johto city.
I was looking at Roy and Liko's designs for this season a little more closely in this episode, and the animators did an incredibly good job. Or I guess the artist.
Art.
The artist did a very, very good job aging them up just a little bit. Like, they don't look 10 years older. They look about a year or two older.
I wish they aged him up more, but it's all right.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious, Taylor. I believe Roy is overhearing someone. It's a woman with a Pachirisu. She's describing it getting sick in the forest park.
I really think Pachirisu deserves an evolution.
Maybe one day, Taylor. Though, you got to remember, the Pikachu clones, most of the time, don't get an evolution. So you got Pachirisu, Dedenne, you got Togedemaru. They mainly just stay the one. Plusle and Minun, you just stay the one guy.
They're all 10 out of 10 designs.
That's their theme they're going with there.
They're just so
Mimikyu.
good.
They really don't have evolutions ever.
Every one of them, just spectacular.
Because you probably don't want to introduce an evolution, because then you have to introduce another plot line of, Pikachu doesn't want to use the Thunderstone kind of thing. And it's you're
Wait,
better.
You do?
You have to remember all these Pokemon are designed with merchandise in mind. And if you can evolve it at any point, then it's people are wondering, should I evolve it or not? Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, with Pikachu,
they had to account for that with the episode in where he was trying to fight Lieutenant Surge. And they were thinking about using a Thunderstone to beat him.
That was just such a weird... That was a cool little episode for me, because it's not just a level evolution. It's an item evolution.
I heard some crazy theory. Guys, back to the episode.
You can't just say you heard a crazy theory and not say it.
It was about how evolution stones aren't natural and they come from space. And actually, if you look at all the Paradox Pokemon, if you look at all the ancient Paradox Pokemon, the Pokemon that would have evolved with stones, their ancient Paradox isn't the final form. It's the base form before a stone was involved. Anyway.
Oh, that's sick.
Taylor, I'm listening to this woman describe her Pachirisu getting sick, and I'm thinking, my God, this sounds just like the effects of Laquium. Could this be a Laquium situation that our heroes are going to have to solve, Taylor?
That's what I was thinking. And at this point, I'm actually incredibly excited about this season, because it's just going to be the gang having like a, what would you call it? It's like that. It's not a Miyazaki thing, but there was an anime where it's like a mystery of the week type thing. It had like a supernatural detective, and he was going from place to place, and everybody would be but it was cool. It was a fun little like this episode we're going to be in this area investigating this type of spirit.
Detective Conan. Spirit Files something. Are you talking about
Mushishi? That's the name of it.
What?
I remembered it. Mushishi. Yeah.
Also, Taylor, the exact same thing happened to this lady with the Purugly. Turns out we are in Molly's hometown.
Laqua. Oh.
We're in Molly's hometown of, I believe it's Uiro City. My handwriting could be bad, and it's not Uiro City, but maybe it is. It's time to investigate. Liko and Roy, we cut to them in the forest. It's very dark in here, Taylor. If only we had a Pokemon with the capability of illumination.
The funny thing is that they say it it's almost like they're trying to be passive aggressive towards Captain Pikachu, because they say, "Oh, it's pitch black. Is this where our journey ends?" And I'm just sitting there and I'm thinking, all right, well, you were fighting a bunch of legendaries, and you got a mythical, and you've been fighting against ancient spirit ghosts and immortal organization owners. But yeah, Dark Forest is probably the cutoff point.
I think we've been a little, correction of the week from me, I think we've been a little fast and loose with calling somebody a mythical. Are you talking about Terapagos?
Yeah.
Terapagos is not a mythical.
It's really?
He's the main character of the DLC. He was not given away in a mythical. Typically is a Pokemon that is not coded into the game as catchable. You have to receive it from Nintendo game.
So it's just a legendary?
Yeah. He's a very important legendary, but I believe he would just be considered a legendary.
Oh, interesting.
Even though I think I have accidentally called him a mythical, so
that seems like a mythical Pokemon. Yeah, every type, interacts with the world, can time travel, do weird nonsense, whatever his powers are.
Dialga can time travel. Ooh, look, a nice trail map. Look, ooh, there's an easy trail, and you can see a Blossom and a Hoppip and a Paris and a Furret and a Rattata and an Apom and a Meryl and a Jumpluff and a Heracross, Oddish, Skip Bloom. Now, here's the thing. None of these Pokemon are aggressive, so really, it should be fine. I don't see why us walking on a trail, we would get sick full of Laquium poisoning.
They're just very tired.
I did laugh, though, because Paris is on that screen, and if you know anything about the memes around Legends Arceus, Paris was one of the most aggressive Pokemon in the game. But maybe he changed his ways. That was in the past, way up in Sinnoh.
That's like the Civilization
Hisui.
Gandhi memes.
What? Then we get to a point that Taylor brought up earlier. Not probably being recorded, but there's a quick, good little scene of Roy scaring Liko with ghost talk, and they think they're seeing some ghosts, but it's really just the shadows and the wind and some trees.
I wish that the creators would really offer a lot of clarification regarding what people consider ghosts versus what people consider ghost-type Pokemon.
Doesn't make any sense.
Because are they just saying, okay, the only ghosts that could exist are things that have passed on and we can view, so like spirits, versus Gengar, who's just a ghost type.
Yeah, he's a ghost. It doesn't make any sense. But then you get into the lore of all Pokemon. What is real? What is legend? What's real in the Pokedex? It's too long of a conversation. But we hear a giant scream. No, Meowscarada points out it's not a giant scream. It's just wind. You're fine. You guys are fine.
There's a very funny use of Meowscarada.
And then it happens again, and I write in all capital letters, ghosts do exist, Roy. I don't know what we're talking about.
They're weak to dark.
And Taylor, after this little scene, we get... It's right up there with Sunset, maybe even better than Sunset. When this anime decides to drop in the Don Corneo wall market music, that just super sick Final Fantasy VII music, boom, boom, oh God, I love that music so much. Oh my God, Taylor, who is sitting in this clearing? What young woman is sitting on this stump that we've just discovered?
Molliford.
And she's healing a Furret on a stump?
In the darkness.
Apparently there's strong poison over here.
If everybody has a Rotom phone, why wouldn't Rotom just fly in the air and use its flashlight?
That's so smart. Well, the cured Furret runs off with the great Pokemon sound effects. Everybody loves the sound SFX, some people may call it, that they use in Pokemon. Are you kidding me? The little, boop, boop, I mean, I can't use it with my mouth, but you know, when you're jumping, walking, the little video game.
Yeah, get a paper bag and a cucumber, and we can recreate the.
All right.
I was talking to Guncan about this the other day because I got the Dunkin' Donuts big box of coffee comes with a specific type of cardboard cup that sounds so good. And it just, that sound of, it was most recently in my viewing history in Baby Driver, characters in movies picking up those cups of coffee and setting them down.
I see. Yeah, anything with coffee is great, to be honest. Okay, then we cut to Molly, Liko, and Roy, and they're all sitting on the stumps just talking away. All the Pokemon are playing with each other. Liko and Roy tell Molly all about the increase of the Laquium reports. She seems surprised about that. And Taylor, the kids and Molly get into a bit of an argument. And we get a flashback of the disbanding of the Rising Volt Tacklers.
I am kind of glad that they gave us a flashback about this, because I was waiting for that, at least in the first episode.
Yeah, they'll probably drip feed us. It's more interesting now, I think, because then we get to see the kids younger.
Yeah.
But they say, well, we accomplished our goal. We brought Pagogo-chan to Laqua. That's all we were trying to do. Also, our ship blew up. We can't fly that.
Also, we have a globally disreputable presence.
Yeah. They're really saying we're the bad guys. So, and for that reason, Molly says, I believe in the flashback, the kids really didn't want anybody to break up. But in present day, Molly says, guys, you can keep being heroes. Can you just change your name? Because that seems like you're making your lives very difficult. And then Roy stands up and says, no, I'm a proud Rising Bolt tackler. I'm not changing my name for nobody. As a matter of fact, Molly, we've already convinced Litton Fan to tell everyone that Rising Bolt tackler are good, so halfway there, honestly. She's always typing on the internet.
Yeah. I just don't know. I wish they were in more constant communication with Dot in this episode, speaking of typing on the internet.
I wish Ult was in this episode. Why don't we have any Dot, no Ult this episode? What's going on?
It's kind of a missed opportunity because they're already kind of going for 12 minutes per episode or a battle in some form or fashion. I thought that they were going to have Ult be like you could have so many funny things. It could take the comedic place of what Team Rocket used to be, where Ult is just like trying to sneak behind them and seeing what they're doing.
Oh my God, Taylor, what was that sound? Oh no, Politotem, Mareep, Swinub, Blossom, Meryl, and Apom, all poison? Not Hoot Hoot too, Taylor.
Shouts out to Mareep, which is part of one of my favorite evolutionary lines.
Yeah, everybody loves Ampharos. Well, then Molly heals all of them up, and we see some purple pollen on Meryl. Oh my God, this looks like the work of a Vileplume. And who is hiding behind that tree and rock, Team Rocket style, Taylor?
It's not Ult.
Nope, it's just a shadowy Vileplume. And it's been Laquiumed. And he's normally so friendly. Everybody loves this guy. He's friends with the forest. Well, he's not friendly now on account of Laquium, so he starts throwing out mad poison. Meowscarada, Crocolore, why don't you jump in the air towards it? What could possibly go wrong with that strat, Taylor?
To be fair, I wish that they had done a cool thing where Crocolore just does... I guess it still only has access to Flamethrower as a fire move, like a projectile. But something where it did a big flamethrower into the air because it's pitch black, and then all of a sudden you see all these eyes around him or something. That was
eyes. Sick. Oh, like in the trees?
Right in the forest. Yeah, just something sick.
Anyway, jumping up in the air, I'm sure will do something. Nope, it didn't work. Vileplume just hits him out of the air, and now they're both poisoned.
Who would have thought removing their maneuverability would have affected them like this?
Commercial break. Yeah, it's like in a fighting game. You don't want to jump in the air because then you're going to be vulnerable when you land.
Exactly.
We're back from the commercial break. Molly rushes to heal Igglybuff. It got hit by Toxic, but Vileplume's doing even more poison powder. Flamethrower, Magical Leaf. God, still strong poison all over the place. What are we going to do, guys?
I don't know. I don't know what we could do.
If only there was a type of Pokemon immune to poison.
No, that's crazy.
Oh my God, I got a shiny Lucario. Return, Meowscarada. Return, Crocolore. Go, Lucario. Use a steel
attack.
It uses Metal Claw.
Focus Blast.
Metal Claw. Metal Claw. Oh my word. Oh, why didn't we think of this? If Lucario hits Vileplume head on with a Metal Claw, it's going to spread the poison even further. And now Lucario's paralyzed. You're telling me this Vileplume has the hidden ability Effect Spore with a percentage chance to give it a status effect, and the status effect was paralyzed? You're telling me that, Taylor?
Yeah, that's what I was implying.
Oh my
also,
God.
Wasn't Vileplume already just constantly leaking out this stamina-draining poison?
Oh, yeah, big time.
What's the difference now that it's moved over 10 feet?
Now he's paralyzed. Go, Hatchram! I want you to use Confusion on account of it's super effective. And because Confusion is not a move that's going to touch it physically, you're not even going to activate its ability. So, very smart. Oh my God, Vileplume Giga Drains Hatchram. And it looks like it's pretty painful. Stealing her health.
Oh no.
And she's sobbing. The poor girl. Lucario, protect the poor baby Hatchram.
Have you ever seen a Pokemon cry after getting hit with an attack?
Probably, like a baby Pokemon.
It was heartbreaking. Normally, the Pokemon's just like, darn, you got me fair and square, and now I'm tired. And this one's just completely beleaguered by defeat and sadness. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, why do Pokemon fight?
Spoilers. That's not why she's crying. She's not crying because she got hit by an attack. She's crying because she's the emotion Pokemon and can read Vileplume's feelings and can see how sad Vileplume is that it's hurting its friends.
Yeah, but what I was thinking when it first happened was that it got hit and was very sad.
Yeah, it is sad. Guys, we got to get rid of this poison. Mousehold, get in here. Use the move Tidy Up. Get this poison out of here.
I was very surprised that Kilowattrel wasn't in this episode as well.
Kilowattrel, go ahead. I need you. He was.
It wasn't the first choice for this fight. And instead they had Crocalord jump.
Yeah. Kilowattrel, you're up next. Use your wings. Let's get rid of this poison. Come on, guys. Honestly, Captain Pikachu, why not you too? There's a lot of poison. Why don't you make a little tornado by running real fast in a circle? Your favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
For
Rising Volt Tackle.
Exactly. All right, Hatchram. Now that we've moved all this poison out of the way, I think it's time for us to
Rastalize
Hatchram. Wrong game.
Isn't
that the Dynamax song? I'm confused.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Look at you, Hatchram. You're a psychic Terra type now. You'll be extra powerful. Get that poison type Vileplume. Confusion. Mousehold. Use Follow Me. Draw aggro. Tank for Hatchram. Also, Pagogo-chan is glowing, which is good. We love when it helps by sitting there and glowing.
That means something significant to the plot is going to happen.
It does. And at this point, Hatchram says to Liko in her voice, Liko, I'm going to keep it real with you. Do I want to attack Vileplume right now? No, because I can tell it's sad. I can tell it doesn't want to hurt his friends. Even poor Raticate is poisoned. Are you kidding me? Rattata, Larvitar, they're all poisoned, and Vileplume's sad about this fact. And all the other guys I mentioned earlier, Taylor.
Everybody's sad.
Everybody's poisoned. All right, well, in that case, you know what to do, Hatchram. Instead of attacking Vileplume, we're just going to heal it instead. And as we love to do in this show, we're going to hop on Kilowattrel back and try to help, but unfortunately she's knocked off. So she's poisoned. Chansey cures her. Good stuff. We then get, I believe Hatchram is learning this move for the first time now. We get Hatchram to make such a sacrifice, Taylor. She uses Healing Wish. That's right. The move that KOs yourself in order to fully heal and remove all status effect conditions from another Pokemon. So Hatchram sacrifices...
Wait, just one other Pokemon?
Yeah, one other Pokemon.
Wow.
So Hatchram sacrifices herself so that way Vileplume can be cured. Wonderful, wonderful work, Hatchram. She's knocked out. She's on the ground. She can't battle any longer. Pagogo-chan, quick! Turn Terastal and suck that Laquium juice up.
Yeah.
It looks like it worked, but Vileplume still very much in pain. Can we, Mousehold, you four little mice, can you please carry this enormous Vileplume to the Pokemon Center?
Shouldn't Vileplume be fine?
No.
Based on Healing Wish?
Wait. That's a good point. But I guess Laquium's from space. It doesn't. Oh
yeah. Just like something that evolves with a stone.
Yeah,
I get you.
We cut to the Pokemon Center. There's Nurse Joys for days. I have never seen so many Nurse Joys. We also see a Heracross, Tangela, Bellsprout, Liko, and Roy. Okay, there's a little scene here, probably setting up for next week's episode.
There should have been a shiny Heracross here with all the joys.
Yeah. Liko and Roy overhear two trainers discuss spheres coming out that are going to make battling easier. Are you telling me XII is selling Laquium spheres, Taylor?
You know they are. You know they are.
God. Anyway, those trainers leave. Molly comes back. Vileplume's completely healed. And she says, children, take this Vileplume back to the forest. And the kids say, Molly, how about you join us on our adventure? And Molly says, no, I'm not going to walk with you children. But you can come back if you come back if you got a big fancy airship. Maybe I'll change my mind.
And she said, I'm learning so much here. And I wonder what she's learning. Because they pretty much just get the Pokemon and put it in the heal bot and then give it back.
She's learning how to love again. She's also interrupted there's a tiny child with an adorable hurt Sunkern, and Molly rushes to heal this baby Sunkern, and Roy says, wow, Molly sure is cool, huh? Yep, she's cool.
Yeah, she abandoned trying to save the world.
Yep. We cut to Vileplume being dropped off. He's a little afraid, Taylor, of what?
Everybody hating him.
Well, that's right, because he was hurting everybody he didn't mean to.
So that actually has some pretty interesting implications because Laquium, I guess, lets you remember everything that happens during it. It's not like being unconscious during this period. You just don't have control over yourself.
It's probably one of the reasons it's so uncomfortable for them, because they're not even in control of their actions.
Which means poor Umbreon.
I know. She remembers. But Umbreon is always up to mischief because she's owned by Spinal.
Aren't there instances of Pokemon not wanting, like being compelled to obey their trainer, but not wanting to?
Exactly. There's a whole episode arc about it early on where they reveal there are no bad Pokemon, only bad trainers.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, luckily, nobody's upset at Vileplume. They all completely understand. And more importantly than all of this, Roy says, guys, I got to investigate further. I'm going to walk straight into this forest, look for some clues, figure out where this Laquium's coming from. Oh my God, Taylor, right behind that tree, an entire XII factory that nobody knew about?
Very funny that they couldn't see that gigantic factory in the pitch black forest.
Wow. Look how big it is. I can't believe nobody knew this little park had an entire XII factory in it.
It's really dark. And people get scared because maybe they're ghost type Pokemon or just spirits.
Well, to be continued. And then Geese Peep would normally do the Neato Things Mega of the week. This week's Mega is Ampharos, and the animation is Neato Thing trying to touch his newly grown fur, his wool. Mega Ampharos, not a fan of this, attacks with its new dragon typing, and yep, that concludes the Neato Thing Mega of the week, Taylor.
Very sick Mega.
I love it. It's so sick. And then I watched next time on Pokes. I'm very excited. Next time on Pokes, it's ult focused because there was no ult in this week, and I was disappointed in that a little bit. Okay, Taylor, why don't you tell us how you felt about this episode this week? Give us a score, which I've heard you don't like it, which is insane, but please take it away.
I liked the beats of this episode. I don't like how the time was allotted within those beats because every episode, it seems like they're taking so much time to battle and there's so much interesting stuff going on. Like this was the episode where they see Molly. Why don't you spend more time with Molly? Why don't you talk about either her past or her present? Anything other than just let's fight for 10 minutes.
They didn't fight for 10 minutes. The battle was short.
It took up the bulk of the episode.
No, Taylor, why do you lie?
It's just I want them to really take some liberties. There's so many episodes of Pokemon. You don't have to do the same thing in every one of them. Like you could have this be something where you see Laquium interacting with people. So it's a bunch of people who are getting sick in this part of the park.
I don't think Laquium affects people.
Yeah, but I mean, it could be something along those lines. Or their Pokemon just really want to stay away from it, which is why nobody's seen the factory. Or you have members of XII that are hanging around and telling people it's off limits, or just anything other than okay, well, yep, let's fight our way out of this situation.
So, what is your score of the week?
Let me think. I mean, it was interesting. It's progressing the plot forward. We got to see Molly.
I have no flashback of the disbanding. I love this episode. It was fun.
Yeah. Normally, I hate flashbacks, but I like this. I like how they did it here because that contextualized at least where the party are at this point.
We meet Molly's mom. You kidding me?
I don't dislike this episode. I won't say that. I just dislike how much time was spent on yet another kind of underwhelming battle to me.
You don't need to pick your score just yet because let me. Let you know. First of all,
you're going to give it a 9.6.
I'm not giving it a 9.6. I'm saying that Johto, wonderful. Everybody loves Johto, Pokes. We meet Molly's mother, like I just said. That's a huge deal.
But they didn't spend any time with it. Like, you easily could have seen just a picture of her, and it would have been the same thing.
Maybe a little bit. Adorable Pokemon. The idea that they just kind of slipped in a little preview for next episode with the trainers discussing those Laquium balls. That's interesting.
Oh yeah, I really liked how that was done. Like that's something that you don't really see in Pokemon very often.
Yeah, I enjoyed this episode. Now I feel bad giving it a 9 because you're making fun of it. It's gonna be a 9.6. I can't think of much I disliked about it though. So that's got to be a 9 for me, right? 9.9.
If it wasn't for the length of the battle, it would be in the 9s for me.
You really think the battle was long? I'd have to.
It just felt. I don't know if it feels longer because it's just been every episode has just been a giant, like too much time battling.
First of all, I love what they do. What they've been doing a lot lately, which in this battle they incorporate so many Pokemon mechanics, such as let's use a type that's immune to poison. An activated ability going off, giving it a status condition, showing off how neat the move Healing Wish is. It was a great battle. There's much thought put into everything that happened in that battle.
I agree.
9.2.
I said this last episode. I like how they seem more like practical battles instead of planned battles, where it's not just, okay, let's divide this as well as we can into one-on-ones. It's just, this giant group and this giant group, or let's use the numbers that we have because we're adventuring. Like, we're not in school. We're not in a tournament. This is adventuring. We have to win our battles. I like how they're doing that. I like how, like, to your point, they're interacting with mechanics more. I think that's really cool. I also really like how they're using their Terra Orbs and they're using Mega Evolutions a lot because that's what I would be doing in that situation. The only problem I have is I see this getting a little tired a little quickly. And I wish maybe they would space out the battles a little bit more.
And yeah, we kind of need to get an episode with no battle.
I'm gonna, but then is it even Pokemon?
Mega Voltage.
Yeah.
The screaming scene with the ghost, that's funny, I guess.
Yeah. Alt wasn't in it. I wish Alt was in it. I wish they'd spent more time with Molly. It's not, this is not a bad episode the more that we talk about it. I just wish that they had done more with what they have. I'm going to say 8.9, actually.
8.9.
Yeah.
He hates it.
Yep. Awful. Top 10 worst episodes.
And that concludes our discussion of this week's The Pokemon Center Lady, or in Japanese, Pokémon Center no
Jurenja.
Taylor, we had a comment this week in response to, I don't know if you recall us being confused why Butler Hamburgers was saying, we can't let Amethio find out that we're looking for him. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm. No, this is weird, yeah.
So the comment we have, I'm sorry if this is not pronounced correctly, Adit Yazrijan was saying that my guess is that Spinal is so great at spying, or maybe even that's the reason Amethio's missing is because of Spinal, probably. So if Amethio finds out, Spinal will find out, and then there will be consequences from that.
That's actually, that's actually a really good point. And if that is actually how the writers of the show are approaching it, hats off to them. Because that's a really cool way of making somebody seem capable without them explicitly saying, no, they're real cool, trust us. They're real good at spying. That's like showing that other characters respect that person. So that's cool.
Part of what I was thinking is maybe it was just kind of an odd translation and that we're really hung up on this. We can't
specific
let Amethio know. Yeah, and maybe it's, I don't know. I'm sure we'll find out.
I like the theory from the comment. That is my headcanon until proven otherwise.
We'll see.
Because that'll make Spinal seem like not just...
He's got a new haircut.
Yeah, for a really long time, Spinal just seemed like he was just in the villain role just cuz, and he was kind of evil just cuz, and there was no real rhyme or reason. There was no real, like, he didn't earn any success. He was like a weasel, but not necessarily threatening. So that would make him seem a little bit more threatening as a character.
We'll see. All right, Taylor, let's go and wrap it on up. Hopefully Geese Peep's here next week, and we can all enjoy Laquium spheres and Ult.
All I'm going to say is shouts out to Professor Ticklebits for the boilerplate.
Thank you all for listening. You can follow Look, Listen, Cast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. please like the video, please subscribe, and please leave a comment because that shares it to more people. Because believe it or not, there are people that would enjoy listening to this, but they do not know it exists. So it's up to you to like and leave a comment because then the algorithm sends it to me. Thank you to Keith for our artwork. You can follow him, twitch.tv/Keith Squared. And Taylor, you were saying?
Professor Ticklebits, as always, just bringing it home with the boilerplate.
Twitch.tv/prof_Ticklebits. Please recommend this podcast to your friends, families, nephews, nieces. Well, I guess realistically, you would want to share it with people who like Pokemon. If they like the Pokemon anime, it's over. I mean, they're going to love this.
Oh, for sure.
Kidding me?
If they like the games.
Kidding me?
If they like Wes Anderson.
I can only say you kidding me, son.
I think I added 2 T's to his name.
Wes Anderson. Please send your questions to looklistncast@gmail.com. Thank you so much. We'll discuss them later. Okay,
My
Taylor.
favorite director.
Yep. You haven't seen half of this work. Okay. Wes Craven. Okay, goodbye, everybody. Taylor, say goodbye. You really only have to say it once.
Goodbye, everybody.
Unfortunately, we have to talk for longer for the outro music to fill up the whole time with Geese's 5 goodbyes, but just one more goodbye.
Yeah, goodbye. Goodbye.
That's
Howdy, y'all. It's me, Geese Peep. Thank you for listening to the Geese Peep Productions podcast.
Geese Peep Enterprises, doing business as Peep Industries, together with its subsidiaries, is a diversified worldwide entertainment company with operations in media networks, talent management, parks and resorts, multimedia entertainment, and consumer products and interactive media. Geese Peep Enterprises is a Dow 30 company.